Last time on AdventureQuest 3D, Cinnamon looked at recovering your lost items. Now he will look at scaling. Can he save the world and the players in it? Find out now!
Hello, my name is Cinnamon, and continuing our series on theories and ideas to improve the game, we're looking at scaling. Since the release of the Nolgath area, this has been a hot topic. What is the player experience? And is it just the Nolgath area being affected? AQ3D has had scaling for a long time. You will find it in side content most of the time, and I'd like to touch on that first. Random Adventures is a fun activity when you want a quick run through a dungeon. Only 2 players are allowed per random adventure. This area is scaled. All players can participate at any level and everyone is roughly equal in strength. When another player joins your adventure, the monsters here get stronger to compensate for the extra player. Regardless of how many players are here, the monsters are easy to take down and it is an enjoyable experience. In an activity like this, no one is paying attention to their stats or their damage. Random Adventures rewards battle gems, which you can use to buy new gear and cosmetics. Now, let's look at a more outrageous example of scaling in side content, Valek's challenge in Ashfall. Where Random Adventures had monsters get stronger when another player joins, this dungeon is scaled for 5 players. No matter how many players are in it. You can see that I am in here by myself, and all these little enemies are insanely tough. I could do this alone, and it would take a long time, but there are no rewards worth that effort. I cannot rely on being the max level either, because the area is scaled. All of these factors make this experience very unfun. So, we've seen both sides of side content now. Some are good, and some are bad. There are many instances in the game like this. If the areas are adjusted per number of players in them, that may be an easy fix. Now, let's look at scaling within the main story. Players start in Death's Lair, doing a tutorial and learning the game. The enemies are not scaled and you will receive gear. This gear has stats, and those stats matter. Unfortunately, with the current stat formulas, it feels that only raising attack makes a big difference. Still, as we move through the game, the monsters get higher level and we get stronger gear. It's the path of progression. After our long journey, we would come to Celadon, only to find that our gear and progression no longer matters, because this area is scaled, where everyone is at equal strength. Why is this? Currently, AQ3D has a small player base. The game averages between 700 to 1000 players at any given time. The Nolgath Saga are the biggest releases of the year. It is AdventureQuest 3D at its peak. These areas are scaled so that everyone who waited months of hype are able to play. People will tell their friends about this awesome release, and you will want to experience it as soon as you start a new game. Asking a new player to go through the whole game before coming to the biggest release of the year will be intimidating. Earlier in 2022, we saw a developer play through AQ3D and they got as far as Doomwood. This was the last time we saw a stream. Asking new players to slog through a linear story that can be played as long as 100 hours to finally get to the good parts is going to push them away. So, let's look at some solutions to all of this. First, here are our points. Scaling allows everyone to play. Scaling cancels any progression and gear. Stats and gear need to make a difference. It feels like attack is the only useful stat. The story is currently linear due to its progression. Due to player numbers, we need to give new players the best content. Lastly, Artix Entertainment has stated they do not want to remove scaling. So, from these points we can determine things that could change. Our main story in AQ3D is to collect runes and open the portal. This could be a non-linear story. That would mean that everything gets scaled, but we need stats and gear to matter. If only there was a way to have level scaling separate from everything else, so those with powerful gear still feel strong. This would demand a lot of work from the development team, but these changes would make an important impact. Thank you for watching. Please share the video and we can continue the discussion on this subject. Subscribe for more, and thanks again for your time.